Okay, good afternoon. This is Patrick Green, P578. I'm talking about athletic burnout here. So the forum talked about whether you remind you of a time athletically or a time in life where you last felt burnt out, and I haven't felt burnt out athletically, and probably since college. So I'm gonna go with what I'm feeling kind of right now in that season of life right now, and just going through kind of a burnout um, right now. And so the question is, question number one, when did you burn out? And I would say it began right before, like the week before spring break. I recovered, able to recover, felt really good. And then right the week before spring break in March, probably the last week of March, until now, just felt burnt out. And what sport activity were you participating in? I was participating in sports, yes, but just huge plate, a load on my plate. So teaching a 6-5 schedule, which means that it's 120% schedule. So out of 5 classes required I didn't have a prep this year, so I taught 6. That's because I was the department head, the athletic director at the middle school. So being an athletic director at the middle school doesn't require too much my time, but teaching 6/5 does. And just being department head, I have 2 new teachers out of 3. So I had 2 new teachers on my department that are just got their credentials. So there's the first years of teaching. So just putting a lot of time into developing and just being a really collaborative and collective unit. Along with personal training, been the last 2 years been personal training, a little bit on the side part time, just to be able to pay for this entire master's in cash, not being able to take out any loans, which I did in my undergrad, and I'm still staying in pretty tip top shape too. So, how intensely were you training? Right now, just long work days, 12-hour days of the combination of everything I just said, plus still doing some CrossFit 4 to 5 days a week. Those consist of weight training, WODs or metabolic training. Still participate in soccer when I was coaching the kids. So a lot of that. Question number 4, how did you feel physically at the time? Eyes hurt a lot. I was only sleeping about 5-6 hours a night. I wanted to take naps constantly. I was always sore. I felt just body didn't look the same. Felt a little bloated. I wanted caffeine constantly and food constantly. I moved pretty slow. All my lifts were down about 5 to 10%. Speed was slower. Reaction time was slower. And then I also received an injury in April. I had a quadricep pull, and it took me about 7-8 weeks to recover through that. Had low sleep quality, like I said. And then even just physically, resting heart rate and blood pressure went up. Resting heart rate went from like around 56 to up to about 64. So still in healthy zones, but went up. And blood pressure went from like 120 over 70s, low 120s over low 170 or 70s to up to like the low 130s to low 80s. And then question number 5, how did you feel psychologically? And for me, it was just a grind. Definitely a grind. So sometimes wanted to quit, but obviously enjoy what I do. So it was just kind of just had to embrace the grind. Irritable at times. I'm a type of person that enjoys the process. Some people enjoy the results, and I kind of enjoy the process, and I wasn't enjoying the process at the time. Wanted to end practices early, however, didn't do that. Kept to the time. Kind of less intense coaching. In years past, been super intense and just kind of had a more laid back attitude. But I did have less patience. Felt depressed a couple days out of the week, maybe 1 or 2, but not too bad. And at times had a negative outlook, which I didn't want to admit. And at times just had a hard time remembering short-term memory stuff. Had to have things repeated or write things down, or I would just forget things throughout the day. And it's just I had a hard time being creative with lesson plans and practice plans, workout plans, which I really like to do. So it just took longer. I didn't really want to have less. I didn't want to have those be bordered just the same old. So I had to put more time into it. So And then the book described just, again, experiencing highs and lows, so it felt like a roller coaster. Really, really passionate, a lot of energy at times, and really, really low at times. And then also had some low self-esteem as well. Question number 6, relative to questions 4 and 5, how long did you feel this way? And I would say I'm still recovering. It's almost July. We're in our last week of this class here, and I hope to have July just fully recovered. I am sleeping more, sleeping 7.5 to 9 hours a day now instead of the 5 or 6. I'm resting a lot throughout my day. I am personally training myself about 90 minutes to 2 hours a day. Again, more CrossFit, a lot of weightlifting, interval training, such as rowing, biking, swimming, running. Spending a lot more time on my recovery, having really good long warm-ups, foam rolling, stretching, active and dynamic warm-ups, and cool downs. And I've just found I've been able to be mentally more focused while I'm working out. However, throughout the rest of the day, I'm just wiped out for the remaining part of the day, so lots of naps and less the desire to drive, to want to do much, anything else, being on summer break as a teacher. And what helps too is I'm not training as much or not teaching, so just I'm only training about 4 hours a day, 7-9 people. Those are all half-hour sessions, so not too bad. So keeping it to a part-time schedule and still staying sharp, enjoying what I'm doing. But again, just way less on my plate right now until August hits up. And then question number 7: did your symptoms occur suddenly or over time? And I say they wasn't sudden; it was just built up. So it started around December, recovered by January, and then felt again back in March, and then felt and remained remainder part of the year and didn't ever catch up. And so I'm catching up right now. So that's my video. Hope to hear some good advice. Obviously, probably just taking less off the load, but have to push out strong till this degree's over in December. So I'm just capstone away, and taking a lot more or less off my load on personal training. Gonna probably do just only group training, boot camps only. So more clients, less time put into that, and gonna have to buckle up and get ready because high school soccer starts in November, which is right at the end of this program. And so I just trying to be just smarter with my time. Need to take less off right now, so I can finish strong with this program, and then so hopefully in the next years to come I can start just really getting after some of those dreams and goals that I have. Okay, thanks for listening.